This will be a quick overview and introduction to the literature review that you'll be doing in English 1010. It's a large paper, but it's broken up into steps, and we'll talk about those today. First of all, what is the literature review? A literature review is a compilation of research on one subject. This first part of the year, we've been focusing on education and the cost of higher education in particular, and also the different facets of education. So you will be doing your first literature review using the topic that we've already researched so far. We've done all those summaries and read a lot of topics, so a lot about the topic. So you will be using the information that you already know. So you'll compile some of the research that you have from the book They Say, I Say, and you'll also be asked to do some extra research in the Pioneer Library. You'll be discussing the historical and current significance of the issue, and you'll be discussing arguments in the literature, how authors agree or disagree, and you'll also focus on, which is not on here, areas of further inquiry. What studies need to be done, what questions need to be asked to further the issue and to come to a reasonable solution on the topic. The literature review is a long paper. It will be approximately 10 to 12 pages, double-spaced in MLA format. We will be writing this paper in 3 steps. So you'll be submitting 3 separate papers, and then you'll put them all together for the literature review. So the parts of the literature review are first the topic introduction, which we're going to focus on in depth today. Then the second section will be the discussion of major debates and commentary, and then a final section will be a discussion of areas of further inquiry, and then of course you'll include your works cited. So first of all, the topic introduction. That's the first paper that you'll write. What is it, why am I doing it, and how should I do it? I guess I should talk about what is it. Basically, you're going to introduce the topic, which will be something related to education. You'll choose a subtopic out of the articles that we've already read and discussed this year. So you'll kind of narrow it down to some facet of education, and you're going to be exploring this in depth. We'll be doing this twice this year. You'll be doing it first on a topic related to education, and then next, in the 3rd and 4th quarters, you'll be choosing your own topic. So we're going to talk about how to do that now. First of all, you're going to find a topic that interests you, and you're going to be generating ideas in this form about education and some discussions or more narrow arguments based on that. So you'll be generating ideas as a class, and you'll choose one of those areas of discussion to focus on for the entire paper. We've already read articles from They Say, I Say, and you're going to choose at least 4 of those articles that all relate to each other on this topic some way to use in your paper. And that's why that last paragraph of your summaries have been so important, because in that last paragraph where you talk about how this article relates to other articles, you have been able to see those connections. So you should already have a good idea of at least 4 articles from your textbook that you want to use in your topic introduction. Then you're going to research at least 2 outside sources in addition to the articles from They Say, I Say. Here is the Pioneer Library website. It's pioneer.uen.org. It's an excellent library with lots of great research. All you need to use will be right here at your computer. You don't actually need to go to a library. Your student login name is Pioneer, and your password for this year, for 2014-15, is Discover. So it should look like this. This is your login. I'll show you a little bit about how to research in the Pioneer Library. If you have any other questions, make sure you ask. You'll first go to, you'll see this screen, I want you to choose EBSCO. That's a large compilation of databases. You'll choose all databases, and then it will take you to this screen. You can either click here to select all databases, or you can go through and choose databases that you think are more specific to your topic. So if you're, agriculture might not be necessary, so you could uncheck that, and that would make the search go faster. Then you will type in your search phrases. For instance, the way I've done it here, I have history in quotation marks and the word and then in quotation marks liberal arts education. That means that whole phrase, it won't look for each separate word, it will look for this whole phrase, and it also has to say history. You could say or, and that would give you one or the other, or if you left the quotation marks off, it would look for each of these words, and that would give you way too many sources. So make sure you try to narrow it down as much as possible. Click full text, because that will give you articles that have a full text. If you don't click full text, it will just give you references to articles that you can go find somewhere else. But just for your convenience, click full text and click scholarly peer-reviewed journals, because this is a college class, we want scholarly journals. Okay, that should help you come up with at least 2 outside sources. You'll find a lot more, but you want to choose 2 good outside sources minimum. Okay, so the topic introduction paper, that's the first paper. It's a 3-page paper, double-spaced approximately. The first part will be a broad description of the topic that provides the reader with a clear sense of what you will be studying. So this is just background, this is just an introduction to your topic introduction. Next, you will be talking about why this topic is important. And again, you're going to be bringing in your sources to talk about why this topic is important and why we need to be discussing and studying it. And then the third part will be a broad discussion of the topic's history. How long have people been talking about this issue? What have they been saying? Just a general kind of history context to the argument. That will be your first section of your larger literature review. You will go on in subsequent weeks to discuss the major debates that are going on currently and areas of further inquiry, but for right now, you just need to have those 3 sections in a 3-page paper. Let's look at the requirements really quickly. It should be 3 pages, double-spaced, 12-point times New Roman font, MLA format. Look at this image for what it should look like. Most of you are doing this really well already, but there's still a few problems. So make sure your first page looks like this. You will need a works cited. For the literature review, you'll need a minimum of 6 sources, 4 from our text and 2 from the Pioneer Library. But for the first section, you don't need to use all 6, but you're welcome to. I would say at least use 3 to 4. So here's an image of what your works cited should look like. Remember, article titles like this one, Mark Twain biography. Article titles in quotation marks. The title of the book or journal is in italics. There's no underlining in MLA format. If you need help, use ezbib.com. Also, if you find a source in the Pioneer Library, look at the MLA format citation. It will give it to you right there, and you just copy and paste it in. And then, and then make sure you've alphabetized your sources by whatever the first letter is in the source citation. Okay, here's some final advice. Start early, so just get going on it. Don't use first person. And basically, you're not going to be putting your opinion into this paper at all. So this should stay neutral, just like your summaries have been staying neutral, except for your response paragraph at the end. So you're going to stay neutral, be honest and consistent, and make sure you're representing the ideas of the authors fairly and objectively. Make sure your voice is dominant. You aren't putting too many source quotes in there. You want to organize by your ideas and not by sources. That means you're not going to talk about one source first, then the second source, then the third source. You're going to talk about an idea and then use a variety of sources to back that up. And then you'll remember that you're going to be doing some peer reviewing. So you'll be posting this into a forum and having your peers review it. And these peer reviews will be focusing on the ideas, but not necessarily on grammar or formatting. So make sure that you have a handle on grammar and formatting. That is it for now. Hopefully that gives you a good broad overview of the literature review and the first section of the literature review, which is called the topic introduction. Again, later on, we'll be doing 2 more sections of the lit review, and you'll be compiling them all together in the end for one long paper. So let me know if you have any questions.